Okay, guys, sorry about that. I wanted to get some things together. So look, don't fall in love too fast. Don't fall in love too fast. Let me see if I can speed talk and try to get this out. All right. So in this season, I know that many people are going to embark upon new relationships. And in the quest to be married or be in a successful relationship or be in a love relationship, right? Sometimes we fall in love too fast or too quickly. And the thing is that, love relationships or high risk. They're high risk, okay? And we can see that with the statistics. We can see, what's happening in relationships worldwide. We can see divorce rate. We can see adulteries. We can see all these things. And so I want to say don't fall in love too fast because it is a risk. A love relationship is you taking a major risk with your heart. Okay. And so I wrote in this book, let me see what chapter this is. Chapter 9, before you say I do. There's just a few things I want you to know before you say I do. Before you give your commitment to a person for the rest of your life. Because marriage is for the rest of your life. Well, that's what God wanted it to be. God really wanted it to be one man, one woman. And they two stay together until death or until the rapture of the church. And so I want to maybe, if you give me the opportunity to speak into your life, I want to try to help as many people as I can not to fall into these pitfalls. All right. It's so easy to give your heart. For women, it's more easy than men because men are reserved with their heart. Okay. So men are visual creatures. Men, they are looking, shopping around, for this person that they want to spend their lives with. But sometimes men play a little bit longer before they are what we call ready to settle down with one person for a very long time. Okay, and we've heard this throughout social media. We've heard, talk shows with men, and we've heard all these things. And a lot of times men say that they don't just want to settle down. They want some time to play. And that's not for every man. That's just for some. But women are more nurturing, and women want to give their heart freely just because of our makeup, just because we are the type of women that loves and desire to love and desire to give. And that part of us desiring to give and desiring to fix things and desiring to make things better, desiring to, grow things, that's why a lot of women love to plant flowers. They love to grow. They love to plant. They love to see a project and turn that project into something, And so the thing is this: when you are embarking upon a relationship with a person, the first thing is, oh, let's go out to eat, right? That's number one. Or let's go to the park. Let's go talk. You begin to talk and walk. You begin to just express yourself and listen to the other person. But here's the thing. After you do that so often, men, they're not necessarily falling in love. They're just piquing your interest. They're just picking your brain. They're learning you. But women are opening like a flower. And women are blossoming within, on the inside. And they are, oh my God, they have already shaped in their minds, right? They have already created in their minds that they would like to be with this individual. They've already seen the colors of their wedding. Some women have already went to buy a wedding dress and they have hung it up in their closet, and nothing is wrong with that, because that is a level of your faith, right? There is a level of your faith that says, I want to be married, and I'm going to go and get that wedding gown, and I'm going to, pick my colors and all these things. Women do this even when children are children. My little girl was talking about she wanted to be married, like, when she was 5. And I was like, all right, baby, that's right. Because you are built for marriage. You are not just a girl that's going to be dating this man. And I let her get her little white dress, and she hung it in her closet. So women always are thinking about marriage. Most, not all. Okay. Most, not all. And so I don't want women today to open their hearts too quickly, because there are some things you have to know about the individual. And I like to say marriage is for grown-ups, because you have to have grown-up relationship talk. And some of the things I would like to suggest to you that you discuss with the person that you are looking to be with for the rest of your life. On page 114, it says you must carefully ask these important questions, including many other questions, to help you in your marital decision making process. So, what are the common sinful behaviors in the family background? What are the common sicknesses and diseases that run in the family line? What are the common problems in the family as a whole? If the parents are deceased, and what were the causes of their death? Are the parents married? Were they separated or divorced? What type of work did the parents do? What are the problems and the challenges that the parents had in their own marriage? And do you have a strong relationship with your parents as well as extended family? What are the noticeable traits or behaviors of your parents? And have your parents at any time pronounced curses upon your life? That's just one part of it. Why? Because we are products of our families. Many people, we are raised by, philosophies. We are raised around family ideologies, and, how we think and how we think about family. What you need to know what that man have in mind as it relates to children, as it relates to how you want to raise them, as it relates, if a woman can't get pregnant or if she can, or, sicknesses and diseases. All these things have to be addressed. Why? Because these things are going to eventually come up in your marriage. And so after the flutters and the ooey gooey feeling like, oh my God, he's making me feel so warm and so, loved and all these things. Look, marriage is for grown folks, and marriage is a calculated risk. I'm about to let y'all go. Marriage is a calculated risk. You are calculating after with all the information that you are gathering. You're gathering intelligence. Because if you put your heart out there before you gather intelligence, you find yourself in a situation that either won't last the length of time that you would like your marriage to last. You want your marriage to last forever. I don't believe that anybody get married just to get married for maybe a year or two. I don't believe that they actually went to the pastor and pronounced all these vows and entered into this covenant and wanted it to be destroyed within a year or two. So you have to prepare for long, healthy marriages. And if you don't prepare for that, then how can it be healthy? So some of the things that you need to begin to ask, you need to begin to dig and ask questions. You need to ask, what happened in this person's family? How was their child life? How do they see a love relationship? What does love mean to them? You need to know their love language, and they need to know your love language. They may bring you flowers, but you may not like flowers. They may want to buy you jewelry, but you may not like jewelry. Your love language may just be quality time. It may just be sitting on the sofa, listening and having a nice conversation. And so if you are going to have a successful relationship that can end in a healthy marriage, these questions have to be asked. Grown people ask questions. They don't just put their heart all the way out there. Oh my God, I'm so in love. And then 2 years or 1 year, when they get to the aisle, when they get to the church and they, exchange rings, and then life happens. What is life? Everyday occurrences that are just normal to life. And some people can handle it. How do they handle stress in their family? Do you run to the alcohol bottle when stress comes? Are you angry? Do you fight when stressful situations come? Do you know how to communicate? Do you know how to relax and take a walk when you're angry? Or are you a boxer? Are you going to be punched in the face? Are you going to be beat down? Are you going to be verbally abused? How do people handle situations? You have to find these things out. You have to know the family, or if possible, you have to get to know people who know the person you are with. Because let me tell you, you may say, well, people will just not want me to be married, so they're going to try to tear it down and all these things. Well, some may, but not all. Okay? And so it's very good for you to get to know the individual before you allow your heart to just fall weak and melt in the hands of an individual. Before you say I do is so important, because there are many different factors in a person's life streaming from their foundation. The reason we do what we do today is because it's coming from our foundation. The reason we act or respond the way that we act or respond is because many of us was raised a certain way. Many of us have, practiced certain behavior patterns for a very long time, and has become a part of us. And some people do have split personalities where you never really know which one is going to wake up. Okay, and so how are you going to handle these circumstances? How does that person feel about going to therapy? How does that person feel about counseling, marital counseling? Because I have spoken to many couples, and there's always one that wants to do counseling, and then the other one is saying, no, I don't want it. And so, what do they think about children, and how do they think about raising the children? What is important to them? What is important to them? Is it important that they spend time with the children? Or do they think raising children is just about giving them money? See, what you have to discuss these things, because if we want success in anything, we have to plan for it. Right now, if you want success in your business, you're going to have to plan for it. If you want success in your relationship, you're going to have to plan for it. And there are people who, once they get married, they don't plan any longer. Once they get married, they no longer maintain it. So the garden begins to grow a lot of weeds. The garden begins to grow a lot of thorns, and the bugs are eating through the leaves and everything. And that's what's happening in many relationships today. Many relationships, they are not maintaining it any longer. So I suggest, dating as long as you possibly can to get to know that individual, the depth of the person. And if they don't allow you in, then there's something that they are hiding. And there are some men that'll tell you, or some women that'll tell you, I don't want you to know my past. And so again, if they don't want you to know their past, then they're hiding that from you. So how can you really truly make a calculated decision if they're hiding their past? And then you got to go and pray for God to reveal it to you. Or, you have to dig, and you have to do background checks, and you have to do, all these things on the person, because if they're not revealing it to you, then they're hiding something. And do you really want to be with a person that's hiding something from you? See, these things are so important. Because I'm going to say it again. If you want success in anything, you're going to have to plan for the success of it. Okay? So you can plan for success. You can plan for failure. You can actually set yourself up for it. And so many people today, they are already in the bed with people. And the thing is after you get out of the bed, then what? Okay? So the thing is there are more questions on page 115, the spiritual side of sex, before you say I do. Very important chapter. All right. So here are more questions. Do you dream about your deceased parents? Have your parents ever regretted conceiving or giving birth to you? These are questions you should be asking, because it's going to determine if this individual have certain generational curses in their lives. And then you need to continue to ask about private issues. Because again, relationships are for adults, and marriage, furthermore, are for people who's ready to say, I'm ready to commit everything to you. If you say you want to be married and you're not ready to open up, you're not ready to be transparent. You may say, oh, well, that's going to take some time. Well, don't you dare get married before you ask these very important things. Because it's not just about marriage and having a big, beautiful wedding and everybody say, oh my God, that wedding was amazing. Did you see that dress? Did you see the food? Did you see the limousine? Did you see all these things? It was gorgeous. Did you see the venue? It was awesome. The food, the dance, the this or that. No. After that, it's real life now. How are you guys going to budget your money? Can you guys talk money? Some people stray away from talking money because they never saw their parents do it. And the way that their parents operated is the way that they want to operate. So you have to have these conversations. And so a lot of people do not have successful relationships because there are questions that need to be answered. And people avoid those and then get into marriage. And then it doesn't work. They find that they're clashing about certain important issues that are important for one and that's not important for the others. And so on this page, finding out what are the common problems in the family and how does the family get along? Are they a family unit that actually are they enmeshed or are they engaged? What was their family like? Were there abuse? Were there domestic violence in the family? And what are their thoughts concerning these things is very important. And so then you're going to start asking questions about the individual. Do they have nicknames, traditional names, titles, and what are the meanings? You know, what are the patterns of poverty and what is the economic stance in the person's mind? Do they believe that money is just going to fall into their life? It's going to fall out of the sky? I've met people like that. They believe that, they got, all these hopes and dreams and goals, but they don't do anything to get it. They just think it's going to fall out of the sky. You could be marrying somebody that's going to be a couch potato and they're going to sit down and make you work for it. So you're going to have these conversations. And, the thing is that marriage is very, very, it's work. It's work. And then most times there are one person that want to actually put the work in to maintaining something healthy and maintaining something beautiful. Okay. And so with that being said, a house divided against itself cannot stand. And so the foundation has to be firmly built. And I hear that when they want to build skyscraping buildings, they actually have to put the foundation underneath the foundation have to go as tall as the building is. If it's going to be a skyscraping, then for it to stand, they have to go underneath the ground, the same height. And so here's the thing. You have to plan for successful relationships. Also, are there sudden and untimely death in the family? What's the lifespan of the family members? Okay. Do they die in their 50s? Do they die in their 40s? Do they die in their 60s? You need to ask these questions. What do they die from? Why? Why you need to ask these questions? So that you can, as a believer, most of my following are believers. If you're a believer, then you need to begin to pray against those things so that it does not, that generational curse does not continue to infect or impact your life negatively. So you can go and deal with those things through prayer. Again, marriage is for adults. It's for mature people. It is. Marriage is not just for you to have legal sex. Somebody should type it out for me. Somebody is listening to me right now. Type it out for me. Say, marriage is not just for legal sex. You know what legal sex means? It means that I want to get married so that we can just keep having sex without getting in trouble with God. That's what legal sex is, right? We want to get married so that we don't get in trouble with God. And that's, it's like you're burning in lust, right? You just want to, that insatiable desire wants you to get married so that you can continue. But if you get married for that, lust itself will expire with you, and then lust will continue with someone else. So in other words, I don't suggest people get married just because they're in lust or in heat. You have to ask good questions. Questions. Thank you, Margie. Questions. Because many people want to be married. And some people don't want to be married. Some people don't. But if you're going to be right with God, you can't live in fornication. And so I just want you to prepare for healthy relationships. Don't fall in love too quickly. Talk a lot. Build and develop trust and friendship. Build it. Build it. Build it before you even consider getting into anybody's bed, anybody's sheet. You're going to have the heat of passion come upon you at times, but don't allow passion and lust to make you avoid the seriousness, right, of the commitment of marriage. You have to discuss certain things. If you don't discuss it, you're going to get into a situation down the line. Now, watch this, if you come from broken homes, or if you are marrying someone with a broken home, counseling is so important. Counseling is not for crazy people. Counseling is for people who want to be healthy. Counseling and therapy is for people who want to make sure that they are keeping things together in their lives. It's good to talk. It's good to share. It's good when you don't have an outlet, right? People are decaying from within, right? And people are acting and people are not happy. So counseling and therapy is for people who want to be healthy and have a healthy stance in life. But there are things that you need to talk about, and this book will definitely help you. Before you say I do, there are things you need to deeply look into, because marriage is for the long haul. It's for the long haul. You need to find out what areas of deliverance that individual may need, and you may need. And then how do you guys feel about spiritual matters? Does he want to go to church? You may want to go to church. He may not. Does he want children? Do you want children? These things are important. How are you going to raise them? Do you believe in public school? Do you believe in, what do you want, to homeschool your children? Do you believe in leaving your children with family members, or do you not? These things can create clashes. How are you guys going to budget your money? How are you going to discuss, how are you going to live? How are you going to live? It takes money. There are people who want to watch TV all day and don't want to work. There are people, the Bible says that if you don't work, you don't eat. So, are you lazy? Is he lazy? Are you a workaholic? Are you not? Questions have to be discussed before you fall in love, y'all. Like, you can't just be falling head in, heart in, body in. If you fall in love too fast, or if you get married just because you want to have sex, then you could definitely damage your destiny. You can stifle and sabotage where God may want your life. You may supposed to be further along, but somebody could retract you. Then there are jealousies that exist in marriage. And this is why you need to be friends. And this is why you need to have discussions. Because husbands can be jealous of wives progressing. Wives can be jealous of husbands progressing. These are things that must be discussed. They must be discussed and they must be talked about. My final word. You need people who want to submit to authority. If you marry somebody who has no authority and no accountability, I'm going to tell you, you're going to suffer. Why? Because that person don't want to answer to anybody about the things that they do. And if they are beating you, if they are dogging you in any way, if they are taking from you, exploiting you, hurting you, there's nobody they're going to answer to. There's nobody that's going to submit to or be obedient to, because they don't honor anybody but themselves. Or they may want honor but don't want to give honor, right? And so you have to get to know people. Get to know people before you say I do. Get to know their background. Get to know how their family operate, how their culture operate, or their customs. If you don't know this, you can suffer for a very long time. You should not have to suffer in a marriage. You should not have to suffer in a relationship. For you to be with someone, you should not have to suffer. You've been through enough suffering in your family. You've been through enough suffering in your childhood. You've been through enough suffering around your life. You don't need somebody that's going to come in your life, hurt you, take from you, live up off of you, take your money, take your mind, take your emotions, break your heart, beat you down. You need to get to know the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. And please do not fall heart in. Do not fall head in. You be mature enough to get answers. And if that person does not want to give you answers, then that is a neon light, and that is a stop sign, and that is a red light saying, look deep before you leap. Because premarital counseling is so important. Authority figures are so important. And when a person does not want to submit to no one, their pastor, they don't even have leadership. They don't even go to church. They don't want nobody rebuking them or correcting them. Girlfriend or whomever you may be, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. And many people are suffering right now because they married the wrong person. They didn't marry the person that God had for them. They married the wrong person. Yes, you can marry the wrong person, because passion and excitement and affection can make you think. Watch this. Lust can make you think that it's the right person for you. So this is why I don't want you to move with passion and lust. I want you to be smart. I want you to get this book and learn. I write from experience. I want you to get to know these people that you are dating. Honey, you are worth more than a steak. You are worth more than Ruth Chris Steakhouse. You are worth more than Versace. Oh, he brought me a Versace purse. So what? Oh, he bought me, a necklace. So what? No, ladies. No. There's no dollar amount that can equal your worth. You hear me? So listen, it's not about exterior materialistic things, because all those things, listen, you can put so much money on a big, beautiful house and it still not be a home. You hear what I'm saying to you? Because people have to make it to be a home. And that's going to take work. And so my single ladies out there, I have my assistant. She's going to be teaching our singles class. And we're going to get the women to, she's been married and divorced and she's single. And so the thing is that we've been discussing. I told her I want her to start the class. We're going to have singles class so that we can, watch this, keep our single ladies covered in prayer. And make sure when it's time for you to, find the one, or actually not find, because the man going to find you. The man finding the woman. But when it's time for you to go out and see this individual and talk to this individual and date this individual, you know exactly what to ask. You know exactly what to look out for. Because there are many broken married women. There are many broken pastors' wives, ministers' wives, prophets' wives, apostles' wives, pastors' wives, or some of the most suicidal women are pastors' wives. You don't know what they go through behind closed doors. You don't know what they go through in ministry. You don't know. And so women are suffering, but they're suffering in silence. And there are men that are suffering too. I know there are men here that listen, it's never all just one gender. I'm talking general. But the thing is that statistically, more women are suffering than men. And we're not lessening the fact that men are suffering. I just want you all to take these keys and apply them to your life. Men, you have to ask questions too. There are women that have, picked up so much in their lives, and you're getting ready to come into agreement with that. And then, can you handle her pain? Can you handle her scars? Can you help her to heal? Or are you going to destroy her even the more? Are you healed? Do you all need to take time to go to counseling before you marry? Do you need to have therapy? Do you need to have deliverance before you marry? All of these things are in my book. All of these things are in my book. The Spiritual Side of Sex, and my workbook. Oh my God. I don't know if I even want to sell this thing, because I think I just want to keep this thing for myself. It's just too good. But I have to share it. This is the workbook. And a lot of work have gone into this for people to have successful, healthy relationships, healthy lives. And so I want you all to go back and listen. Before you say I do, there are things you must ask. Do not jump in headlong into these relationships with these men or these women until you find out their history, find out their secrets, find out the things that is going to impact your future with the individual. And most importantly, if you find people that don't want to submit to authority, you're in trouble. Because the person that does not submit to God, number one, or authority in this earth, they are dangerous. And they will do you things, do their children things, and they will not be accountable to no one. Okay? And that is dangerous. Hear what I'm saying? Hear what I'm saying? And so I wanted to share that, and I hope that these things are rolling in your mind, and you take them and you pray about them. So if you're dating someone right now, these questions are in this book. So you need to come to the website, God's Royal Women, get it. Go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You don't have to get it directly from me. Just get the information. And, watch how you can, watch this, not move on affection, or not move on passion, not move on lust, but move on knowledge. Move on knowledge. Too many women are letting men test drive them. Your vagina is not to be test drived. It is a sacred place. It is a sacred place of worship. It is not to be test drived. It is not to be allowing men to drop things inside of you, their life-giving source inside of your body, that's going to remain with you for the rest of your life, because sperm do not die. I'm going to say it again. Sperm do not die. They swim and they become a part of your DNA. Listen, people, I know what I'm talking about. Okay? Go do your work. Get this book. I did all the work for you. Okay? Ain't nothing but $18 or whatever. I don't know what it is, but you have enough of it, because I know y'all be buying all that high price stuff. And I be seeing y'all high price stuff. You need to invest in a book that's under $20 and help somebody's life. And if you have anybody out there have one and you're done with it, give it to somebody else. Okay? Help people. If you help people, you will never be broke, and you will always be relevant. All right? So who is that Southern boy, Hampton? Move on knowledge. That's a t-shirt. All right? So God bless you. Any questions before I go? I'm going to give y'all 2 minutes. Any questions? So again, y'all, look out for the singles class. I'm going to have a flyer for that. All right. It's going to be singles class. It's going to be free. You ain't got to pay for nothing. All right. It's a singles class, and it's going to be exciting because there's a lot of single people that are dealing with the same challenges. And then I'm going to be talking about what my mistakes were as a single girl. Okay. Yes. And so you can always learn from someone's mistakes, and don't allow them to become your mistakes. Right? All right. So any questions before I let you all go? And so share it with somebody before you say I do. Before you say I do, you better ask the right questions. And look, give it time. Don't allow passion to make you marry somebody that you're going to live in a miserable hell with for the rest of your life. And there's a lot of women are miserable. And there are men that are miserable too. But most times when men are miserable, they just divorce. And, you know, they go find them somebody else. Or they just divorce and whatever. Stay single and keep playing the field, right? I don't know, y'all. But I want to say this to somebody. Move on knowledge. Don't move on lust. Right? Don't move on passion. Oh, he make me feel so good. Make me feel like a flower. He making you feel like that right now. But when trials and tribulations and testing come in life, you'll find out who that person is. How are they under pressure? How can they handle pressure? How do they respond to it? Are they a person that give up too soon? Do they believe in work? Do they believe that you're supposed to do all the work in the house? You got to ask these questions. You understand what I'm saying so that you can be successful in your relationships. All right? So get the book, guys, and be blessed in your relationships. Be blessed. Don't be miserable. See y'all soon.